having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated with the UFC.
Jake Paul drops bombshell about Conor McGregor fight. Just when you thought the Jake Paul spectacle couldn't get any wilder, he's back with another headline-grabbing claim. This time, he's set his sights on none other than Conor McGregor. Yes, you read that right. Paul says he's ready to step into the ring with the MMA icon. However, the conditions he's proposed have left everyone scratching their heads.
He doesn't want to push for unless the UFC is directly at the table negotiating, because quite frankly, that's what it's going to take for any of this to be a reality.
Jake Paul, real boxer or master showman? Jake Paul has somehow convinced people he's a legitimate boxer, and now he's laying out conditions to involve the UFC and Dana White in negotiations, or nothing moves forward. Seriously, Jake? Now you're aiming for Conor McGregor, a man who's conquered both MMA and boxing? Could this be the fight everyone's been waiting for, or is it just another ploy to grab attention for Paul's next big announcement? Jake Paul has thrown yet another curveball at the combat sports world, and let's face it, he's better at dropping bombshells than anything else. In his latest revelation, Paul claimed that Conor McGregor's camp is desperately trying to set up a fight with him. But here's the twist. They're allegedly bypassing traditional channels and involving Bellator superstar Michael Venom Page as a mediator. That's right, McGregor's team, with all their resources and connections, is reportedly reaching out through a rival promotion. Shocking? Absolutely.
Having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated.
But of course, Jake Paul didn't do what everyone expected. He didn't chase after McGregor's attention like a dog after a bone. Instead, Jake flipped the script with a move so bold it left jaws dropping. UFC and Dana White must be involved. That's right. No UFC, no fight. Jake wasn't just playing hardball. He was making sure the deck was stacked firmly in his favor. This unexpected demand has left everyone scratching their heads, wondering why Jake suddenly insists on bringing Dana White and the UFC into the spectacle. Let's be real. This is Jake Paul we're talking about. His entire career thrives on disruption, flipping the status quo, and keeping the world guessing. And once again, he's delivered. Interview 4, Episode 4, Season 7, Episode 28.
I'm just saying, for the UFC to grant Conor McGregor the right to fight Logan Paul, and Dana hates the Pauls, you know how Dana holds grudges.
When Jake Paul calls for the UFC's involvement, he's not just flexing. He's playing a calculated move, leveraging the UFC's global dominance like a chess master plotting his next checkmate. Dana White and the UFC offer far more than credibility. They bring unmatched global reach, institutional power, and a fan base that spans continents. And the listening guests? This episode of the UFC's controversial documentary, Dana White, the UFC's controversial documentary,
Dana White clause attached to this contract for Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, or Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, none of this happened.
By throwing down this gauntlet, Jake Paul is executing a masterstroke. He's forcing the UFC, the very organization that once dismissed him as a sideshow, to validate him as a legitimate contender in the fight game. Jake isn't merely asking for recognition, he's demanding it. Suddenly, the world's biggest sports promotion finds itself at a crossroads. Ignore him and risk looking out of touch, or take the fight to a global audience, and in doing so, potentially reshape how fights are negotiated forever. It's bold, it's disruptive, and it's classic Jake Paul. Interview 6 of the 465.
You guys see the Logan Paul, Conor McGregor? Who wins in that fight? I think Logan Paul.
I mean, we haven't seen Conor fight in a while.
I feel like Logan Paul, at his size, when he fought Floyd too, that was years ago. He's like been training, he's in insane shape.
Man, I wish Conor wasn't doing these times.
As if the Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor rumors weren't wild enough, another layer of intrigue has emerged with reports about where this mega fight might go down. According to ESPN's Salvador Rodriguez, the bout could be slated for July, August, or September 2025. And the venue? India. The driving force behind this potential spectacle? None other than the Ambani family, renowned for their staggering wealth and global influence. With the Ambanis reportedly backing the event, what might have been just another fight is now shaping up to be a global phenomenon.
I think, $100 billion family looking to kind of replicate what's going on in Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. How they're pushing into boxing. India with that kind of money, maybe trying to do.
Choosing India isn't a random decision. It's a strategic masterstroke. Hosting this fight there isn't just about geography. It's about tapping into one of the fastest growing markets for combat sports. India boasts a massive, untapped audience, hungry for more action, and this event is poised to deliver. By bringing a marquee fight like this to India, the promoters aren't just targeting a single country. They're sending a powerful message to the entire world. This is where the future of global sports lies. The world! And then there's the money. When the Ambani family is involved, we're not talking about small change. With a staggering net worth of $1.5 billion, the richest family in Asia could bankroll this event without making a dent in their telecom empire. Hosting this fight in India isn't just about putting on a spectacle, it's about rewriting the financial playbook for combat sports. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor wouldn't just be trading punches, they'd be making history while basking in the glow of both dollar signs and rupees.
First, it just came out. Conor just put it on Twitter that he was in talks with the Ambani family to fight Logan.
The timing? Absolute perfection. With no major global sporting events dominating the spotlight in mid-2025, all eyes would naturally turn to India. This isn't just a fight, it's a power move. An epic, money-soaked spectacle that could redefine where and how the biggest bouts in history unfold. Now, let's talk about the fighters gearing up for this colossal showdown. On one side, there's Conor McGregor, the man who claimed world titles in 2 weight classes and built a legacy as brash as it is dominant. His fighting style is as flashy as his persona, relying on devastating knockout power to dismantle opponents in record time. And then there's Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned fighter who somehow managed to convince the world he's a legitimate threat in the ring. Love him or hate him, he's undeniably a disruptor, and his presence in this matchup makes it all the more intriguing.
He's a big dude, and he can crack.
Yeah.
And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his
not
skills.
anymore, bro.
And then there's Jake Paul, who has carved out a boxing career that's impossible to ignore. From social media star to legitimate pugilist, this guy has turned heads and ruffled plenty of feathers. As of November 2024, his professional record stands at 11 wins and just 1 loss, with that single blemish coming at the hands of Tommy Fury. In February 2023, not too shabby, right? Let's not forget Jake's amateur victory over Deji in 2018, bringing his overall tally to a solid 12-1. Sure, some might argue about the level of competition, but whether he's knocking out seasoned fighters or stirring up online beef, Jake Paul is undeniably one of the most talked about names in the fight game. And we can't forget Logan Paul from the equation. He went from filming pranks to stepping into the ring and attempting to knock out pros. His career highlights? Well, let's just say they're unique. He fought KSI twice, and guess what? They couldn't even agree on a winner, ending in a draw and a split decision.
One, it does show us that this is a Jake Paul driven thing going on here, and that Conor McGregor makes sense because he's probably still one of, if not the biggest name in combat.
But the million-dollar question is, why does this matter? Because Jake is essentially throwing down the gauntlet, not just to McGregor, but to the entire UFC establishment. By demanding UFC's involvement, he's challenging Dana White's monopoly on combat sports while daring him to recognize Paul's most valuable promotions as a legitimate player. Video to stop the split. Check it out on Netflix, Prime Video, and iHeartRadio. Speaking of Netflix, Paul's most valuable promotions is a legitimate player. This isn't a small move. It's a calculated play to disrupt the traditional power dynamics of fight promotions. The ripple effects could be massive. If Jake gets his way, it could pave the way for more cross-promotional mega activities, breaking down the barriers between independent fighters and corporate giants. Imagine a world where MVP and UFC co-promote, merging Jake's social media savvy with the UFC's global reach. It's the kind of game-changing move that could forever alter the balance of power in the fight game.
Logan said you might be next. Would you be next?
Slap the nose off. He's gonna beat Logan.
The fight between Paul and McGregor isn't just about egos. McGregor's public image has taken some hits lately. Legal troubles, sponsorship losses, and a series of lackluster performances inside the octagon. A fight with Jake Paul might seem beneath him, but it also presents a unique opportunity for McGregor. This isn't just a fight, it's a chance to remind the world why he's still the Notorious. Jake, on the other hand, is playing chess while everyone else is stuck playing checkers. His callouts aren't random, they're meticulously calculated. By targeting MMA legends, he's positioning himself as the ultimate disruptor, the guy who doesn't just box but rewrites the rules of combat sports. What makes this rivalry so compelling isn't just about who would win in the ring, it's about the story. Jake, the social media provocateur, challenging McGregor, the king of combat sports chaos. It's legacy versus disruption, the old guard against the new wave, and most importantly, it's pure entertainment gold.
As crazy as it sounds now, based on how I felt about this 4 years ago, that Jake Paul would give Conor McGregor real problems in a boxing ring and potentially knock him out.
This rivalry has the potential to change the game entirely. If Jake Paul faces off with McGregor, it's not just a fight, it's a blueprint. It would prove that cross-discipline matchups can work, that social media stars can go toe-to-toe with seasoned pros, and that the fight game is evolving in ways we never imagined. Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny the impact. This is more than just a rivalry, it's a revolution. So is Jake Paul bluffing, or is this fight closer than we think? With all the drama, speculation, and jaw-dropping twists he loves to throw in, it's impossible to tell. What's your take? Does Jake actually stand a chance against McGregor, or is this just his latest stunt to stir the pot and grab headlines? Drop your predictions in the comments below and don't go anywhere because we'll keep you updated on every twist in the Paul brothers fight schedules, plus the game-changing role the Ambani family might play. Buckle up because things are about to get even crazier in the fight world.